Like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe, and also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Welcome to Skiba News Nation, bringing you unfiltered views, news, interviews, discussions, and more. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Skiba, award-winning musician and son of Rob Skiba.
With the son of the legendary Rob Skiba. Jeremiah Skiba, what's up?
With my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Graham.
Dude, someone should do conspiracy news. It would be 10 times better than what you see on television.
It's like I don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.
Hey Skiba News Nation family, welcome to episode 147 of Skiba News Nation, your weekly source of the latest news, controversial topics, conspiracies, forgotten history, and so much more. I'm your host Jeremiah Skiba. As always, I'd like to introduce my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Graham. How are you doing, Jake?
Hey Jeremiah, doing really good. I can't be more grateful with all my blessings. So always good to stay positive, and especially as the world's crumbling down around us, we got to count our blessings. You know what I mean?
Yep, I sure do. Well, I wanted to share something with you and all of you guys watching. We now have a partner. Let's just play the ad. If you need real focus, listen up, fam. As a kid, I was diagnosed with ADD, and I always had a hard time concentrating, focusing, and being productive. I wanted to find something as natural as possible, and then that's when I found Adol XR. It changed my life, and I've been using it for years. It's unlike any other product. It actually helps me stay locked in, especially when researching, working, and pushing through long days. The best part is, there's no caffeine, no jitters, no crash. Just clean, focus, and steady energy. It's all natural, no big pharma. It's an answered prayer, but it's not for everyone. But a lot of professionals, students, and I swear by it. Also, if you're a caffeine person like me, they have you covered there too. With their product, Rapid Release and Mushrooms, for an extra boost with caffeine. I use it, I love it, and I think you will too. So go to adolxr.com and use code SKIBA10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. Focus starts here. So yeah, this stuff is awesome. I'm gonna send some to you, Jake, and it really is amazing if you're, if you have ADD, because I do. It just makes you, be able to focus and get stuff done. I know, I'm sure truckers use it. If I was a trucker, I'd use it. But yeah, use Skiba10 at checkout, and when I send you some, Jake, you can let us know how it was. So
Sounds good.
So I hope you got some great current news for me today.
Yes, we do. Let's talk about it.
Alrighty.
Oh, wow. I found this little clip bringing Monty Python to the Venezuelan-U.S. conflict equation, and I think everybody is going to appreciate this. Check it out. So, it was a long time coming, but when they struck fast and hard and took him out of the country and paraded him in the streets of New York. Obviously, all over the world, there's different countries with different opinions Although it seems like when we're hearing from the citizens of Venezuela themselves, they're all ecstatic because, yes, there is an oil element to this. Yes, there's a mineral element to this. But all of the wealth that the country had been generating from those industries were going straight into the corrupt pockets of politicians, and it wasn't going to the people. And, I famously, Venezuela is known for its currency crash to the point that there is actually an online video game that my brother and I are fans of called Old School RuneScape, and they would, as a job, play this video game and then sell the online gold, and it's become a nefarious Venezuelan gold farmer trope, right? And so there's so much around this that's been so interesting, and so to see it come around and things starting to get moving for that country, it's going to be very interesting. Now they didn't have a central bank, but guess what? They probably will soon.
They had cocaine.
Now here's a little clip. They do. Here's a little Chinese state-sponsored media post. Now I showed this in our last clip of how on our phones we're starting to get warnings from Russian or Chinese state-sponsored media because there's a big propaganda war going on right now. But I think it's interesting to show just how they're propagandizing the West, right?
显违反国际法和国际关系基本准则，违反联合国宪章宗旨和原则。中方呼吁美方确保马杜罗总统夫妇人身安全，立即释放马杜罗
Release
总
them
统
immediately.
和夫人，停止颠覆委内瑞拉政
Cease
权，
subverting
通过对话
Venezuela.
谈判解决
Resolve
问题。
issues.
中方对美方。
Okay, so obviously we're seeing some China and Russia and some of these countries calling into question the motives and then all the kind of the naysaying regarding oil and mineral rights, whether it's true or false, right, becomes a justifier in greater escalating tension on the world stage. And just recently, today, we saw that a oil tanker was trying to go around the embargo between Venezuela and Russia, and they got stopped by the U.S. Navy, and they flew a Russian flag over the oil tanker, to try to play some kind of international waters, or, hey, don't pick on me, I'm Russian, and then there was a team that was sent to take down the oil tanker, so there's a lot of things revolving around this that really seems to be, it could be a justifier for World War III. And we've been saying this for years and years about all these different conflicts. It's wars and rumors of wars, but at least we're trying to be watchmen.
They repainted or painted over the name of the boat and renamed it. And then they put the Russian flag up so that they would disguise themselves as a Russian flagged boat. And not only that, it was being escorted by a Russian submarine and a Russian, another boat, a Russian boat. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Wow. Yes. So Opal was mentioning there's something interesting with the tanker and the oil, and this whole situation around the oil really has caught my attention because just in the past few days, a nefarious prophetic conspiracy video that was circulating back in 2013, I believe, called IPetGoatII. We actually covered it in one of my segments in one of our very early Skiba News Nation videos. We talked about this video. We talked about how it points out certain conspiracies and revelations that have been unfolding on the world stage over the past decade. Well, guess what? After years of dormancy, the account that the HeliofantChannel and the IPetGoatII video was originally posted on, very mysterious, nobody really knows who put this video out, has started posting again. And they're posting very strange and almost coded cryptic videos of like snow and icy water. And it's really interesting because of this. Somebody recently pointed out that in the video there seems to be a prophetic hinting at what is actually going down right now with Maduro, Venezuela, and oil. So here's the picture. Wow, Maduro is in Pet Goat. All right, so how do we build this case that this cartoon character is representative of Maduro, right? Well, in the video, and we're going to watch the video up until this point to see if there's, anything after this scene that we could, be, seeing, on the docket next, right? But in this scene, there's a gentleman holding like a sickle, kind of like the communist sickle and hammer. And we see him drowning in a big vat of what looked like green slime. But it turns out that it could be just a reference to the high paraffin content clean oil found from Venezuela. And what other element of this is there is a very interesting flower that appeared in the scene as well that can be attributed to, a Venezuelan flower. So, all right, without further ado, check this out. So this is the HeliofantChannel, and you're seeing here a series of videos being posted over the past couple days. And it's really all started since that capture of Maduro. And, of course, here is the IPetGoatII video. There's many channels that have re-uploaded this video. And I think originally this original channel deleted the first video and then re-uploaded it, I think just a year or two ago.
And now, gosh, is it? Shit.
Remember how to do this.
Layer it.
Okay, so just a pause and a quick analysis of what we're seeing here. So we see him sinking down in the slime. We see him holding a hammer and a sickle.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a communist kind of underpinning to what the hammer and sickle represent, but also that leads into the socialist system of Venezuela in a way.
And he looks Venezuelan.
Okay, so what a weird and creepy video,
I know my mom. I think that was in the last video that we watched together, and she was like, "I don't like this." it was like one of the last couple episodes we talked about that video, and she's like, "I don't like any of this." I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't like it either."
It's much too deep for
it's
my
kind of dark,
shallow mind.
Yeah, there's a channel, I think it's called Theology Ed, that has gone through like a fine-tooth comb over every millisecond of that video and pointed out a whole lot of connections. But, I think it's just interesting, though, that people can find meaning in things like this. Or is it something else? Is it just meaningless stuff that we're reading into? Or is there some type of predictive programming script that's playing out around this very mysterious video? Now let's move on to some interesting things coming out in the world and how it sets us up in 2026. You guys will enjoy this one because it's pretty crazy. Did you know an enormous Jesus came out of the ocean there off the coast of Brazil? Check this out.
It is this little horn that John identifies in Revelation 13 as the beast. In 13:1, John writes, "I saw a beast coming out of the sea," which refers to humanity. And he had 10 horns and 7 heads. The 10 horns represent 10 nations. The 7 represent 7 rulers. But he said each of them had on their crowns a name of blasphemy. So he's talking about this final empire, which its whole orientation is anti-Christ, anti-God, anti-Bible, anti-truth. And then he says, this last beast I saw resembled a leopard, but he had the feet like those of a bear and the mouth like that of a lion. So suddenly this last beast that he describes first as a little horn that's boasting and blasphemous, and it rises up and it displaces the other horns and takes over and becomes this authority. It starts off as a confederation of nations, but then it becomes really brought down to one individual who's calling all the shots. And then he said he was different in the fact that he looked like a leopard, he looked like a lion, he looked like a bear. In other words, it's almost like a composite of all the other kingdoms that have come together. So if you try to look at it from a historical point of view, it's essentially he's saying in the end of time, there's this final empire that will rise up and rule over the world, and it will draw to it all of the characteristics, good and bad, of every empire in the history of the world. Now, I've often taught that the Antichrist spirit, as we'll see, is still in the world. It's been there since Adam and Eve were deceived and Satan took over the governance of men. But what's really interesting is that they all had their strengths and weaknesses. But think about this final ruler is a composite of all the worst characteristics of every despotic, totalitarian autocrat that's ever reigned. I mean, he's like Nimrod combined with Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar and Napoleon and Hitler and Stalin. I mean, you're getting all of the worst psychopathic personalities are being compressed into this one person, because as we go on, what it says is that just as Satan gave power to each one of those to rise to their points of authority, he gives all of his authority and all of his power to this last world leader. That's the direction. You might reflect for a moment what it would be like to be ruled by such a personality. Well, the dragon, or Satan, it goes on and says, gave the beast his power, his throne, and great authority. And it says the whole world was astonished and followed the beast. And men worshiped the dragon, which is Satan, because he had given authority to the beast. And they also worshiped the beast and asked, who is like the beast? Who can make war against him? Now, later on to the equation is added the false prophet, and these three make up the demonic trinity. Satan seeks to fill the role of God the Father. The Antichrist tries to play the role of the Messiah, the Son of God, and the false prophet becomes a replacement for the Holy Spirit. And this becomes the evil trinity, where essentially they seek to build a whole new false religion to displace all of the religions, including Christianity.
Well,
I would freak out if I saw that. I would freak out if I saw that. Any human like in drone form just scares me. Like, it's just weird to me.
Yeah, I think it's really fascinating because it's a marriage of the spectacle of technology and religion, and I think that's what I kind of was trying to draw out of this. For example, check out this clip, which is just in. Boston Dynamics humanoid Atlas is now working autonomously at Hyundai's factory in Georgia, and this is going to lead into an Elon Musk segment. Pretty interesting.
Now works autonomously on Hyundai's factory in Georgia.
Getting ready for work.
Whoa.
Meet
That's like out of Bloodborne or something.
Atlas, a 5'9", 200-pound AI-powered humanoid created by Boston Dynamics.
Atlas just pivots on his core.
Damn.
He can move in ways that we can only dream
I can't do that.
So why did you design it that way?
There's a couple advantages of being able to continuously rotate joints. So one is that the robot's not really limited in its range of motion.
Atlas was a bulky hydraulic robot that could run and jump.
He's like a droid from Star Wars.
Back then, Atlas relied on algorithms written
Xbox.
by engineers.
Now they're
we
using
dropped in
PlayStation.
again this past fall, we saw a new
Look at that.
generation Atlas with a sleek all-electric body
Damn.
and an
Look at those
AI
legs.
brain powered by NVIDIA's advanced microchips, making Atlas smart enough to pull off hard-to-believe feats autonomously.
I love this
We
dude.
saw Atlas skip and run with ease.
What the
He can do the Macarena. He could do cartwheels. He could dance.
He told us
He could
robots
kill your
today
grandma.
have learned to master moves that until recently were considered a step too far for a machine.
A lot of this has to do with how we're going about programming.
The movement's
these robots
crazy,
now, where
I
it's
know.
More about teaching and demonstrations and machine learning than manual programming.
So this humanoid, this mechanical human, can actually learn.
Yes, and we found that that's actually one of the most effective way to program robots like that.
over
Give it a
and over
gun.
again
We're gonna
and
have
actually
robot
do
police
it
officers soon.
without. So why does he only have 3 fingers?
Robot hands are an
Oh, it's so
extremely
crazy
complex
how it moves.
engineering problem. And so when we design hands for Atlas, they don't look exactly like human hands.
There's a
but they
kid in
have
my
a
school
lot
that
of
had hands
the
like
same
that.
capabilities.
We call
Here
them
you can
ET.
see that they can switch between different modes. They can act as if they were hands.
I'm being
with
serious,
These
by the
3
way.
digits, or this digit can swing around and act more like a thumb.
Oh, this is it throwing the stuff in the box. These are our new slaves. Here's what we do, right? We take people and then we turn people into batteries and then the batteries power the robots. Humans as batteries suck, man. Can't we put them on like a treadmill or something, like a human hamster wheel? The guy's slow. This guy's slow. Okay, well, here's the difference. He doesn't take breaks. He works all day. He doesn't know what a union is. And he doesn't even know what Christmas is. He'll just do the same thing every day forever. People underestimate the difference between a person doing something versus a robot doing it just indefinitely. You know this if you've ever done botting in a video game, by the way. Like, you'll farm something like with like an auto clicker or a bot, and you'll come in the next day and you will have like an unfathomable level of resources. I don't think people understand how much of a huge advantage it is to just infinitely do the exact same task infinitely many times. So yeah, and also it's probably going to get faster too.
Crazy. So
this is it.
So that I like how he presents some of these topics as, you know, it is really shocking. It was like out of a horror game, that seeing that robot unfold backwards, and we covered in one of our previous streams about how AI robots are just being trained to look human in the way that they're walking around, but really, if they were to move as efficiently as possible, they'd move much more like a spider creature from a nightmare. And you know, this is all interesting as we see the rollout of this technology, because we have some recent claims from guys like Elon about how universal income and utopia is just around the corner, and people are going to lose their minds because of it.
Your currency will essentially just be wattage.
Yeah, I was thinking, is the ability of a person to control energy and compute, or just energy? I mean, the two two translate, obviously.
Just like harnessed energy.
Yeah.
Like, so, or like basically how much power is being turned into work of some kind.
Right.
Intelligence or matter manipulation.
So that's your next big project, is going to be energy. It's going to be, you're going to go back to your solar
you
city
can expand
roots.
from there and say, okay, what about even getting somewhere on a Carter of 3 scale, meaning galaxy level?
Now we're talking. Now we're back to Star Trek.
Yeah, expand horizons here.
Yes.
Well, there isn't even a horizon because you're not on a planet.
So we talk about.
So if you're seeing galaxy mind, the future currency will essentially just be wattage.
Yeah, I was thinking, is the ability of a person to control energy and compute?
Okay, so why is he saying the currency of the future is energy? Well, it's because to operate what they want, we're going to be transitioning into a post-labor, post-scarcity society, which will likely be the hardest thing humanity has ever tried to survive. Not because of money, because of psychology, meaning, and speed. Elon says straight up, we get universal high income, social unrest at the same time. Could it be because there may be people resisting the carrot on the stick, you know, so that they don't have to participate in something that's evil? Or is it just, something we're going to have to get used to?
Why not both?
Or, how do we go towards universal high income instead of social unrest? So
why not both?
Or because we don't want social unrest.
Jews.
So
have universal high income and social unrest. That's my prediction.
Oh, that will make for a lot of problems.
Is that your actual prediction?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems likely.
I'm like, tell me
I'd
I'm
love
wrong.
to push back on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
but
it seems like that's the trend.
Yeah, totally.
No, we have.
Well, because there's going to be so much change.
Yeah, exactly.
People are going to be it's scared shitless.
Yeah, it's sort of the, it's like, be careful what you wish for because you might get it.
Yeah.
Now, if you actually get all the stuff you want, is that actually the future you want?
Yeah.
Because it means that your job won't matter.
If you're living an unchallenged life,
yes,
right, with no challenges, no, if you become a couch potato, if it's the Wall-E future, that does not go well for humans.
So here's my prediction regarding his prediction, right, is the reason it's social unrest along with universal high income is because to motivate the population that will have no more motivation, you have to make the things that we already inherently have, like our ability to procreate, to choose, our, culture, our family, those kinds of the things are what get taken off the table when they give you everything you want, so that you can be like, well, I better work extra hard in my AI, management job so that one day they'll give me permission to, have children or not be in this box, right? I'm fed good. I got all the video games and entertainment I want on my VR AI headset, but I need some motivation. So what are they going to do? They're going to take what we already have and they're going to give it back to us to motivate us because we're all going to be getting paid to operate within the system.
Yep.
The Jetsons.
Yeah.
Well, you heard him. He's a Star Trek fan. So your old question about, I bet you these guys are sci-fi fans. Well, now you have your answer, Opa.
Oh, yep.
Yep. Meet George
Jetson. Here we go.
He was 80 years old and will be missed on this show.
So we've briefly been covering the corruption in government, and there's a lot of things that have been coming out against Benjamin Netanyahu for certain things, and lo and behold, today, guess what? Judge Benny Sagi, president of Beersheba District Court in Israel, who oversaw a corruption case involving Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the submarine affair, recently died in a collision on Route 6 when his motorcycle was struck by a vehicle. Now, I don't know if this was a coincidence or not, but I think it is kind of interesting that, you have, a lot of the claims that are being levied against BB, and
I wonder how close they are to the Clintons. He is to the Clintons.
Yeah, I mean, he goes way back in politics, so he probably had some type of relationship with them, I'm sure. All right, now let's see here. Just recently, we have France announced that they will be sending 20,000 troops to Ukraine. Just today. Why are all the troops overweight?
And carrying gay flags.
So France is sending 20,000 donuts to Ukraine.
Yay!
All right, so
in particular, you'll notice who can create markup for a given site, i.e. put fact checks on the internet. Only people with access to the back end of that site, i.e. you're only putting fact checks on your own websites. It's not Google fact-checking all other websites. Any account that is listed as a restricted or full user of a site will be able to create markup for any articles of that site. What this actually is a way for mainstream media to search their own fact checks and create them all in a little database so they can all reference each other, and you can search the fact check database where they all have the same format and API. So that way, like, New York Times can cite fact checks from Snopes and it can show up in the fact check database, and then they can compile a giant database of where they're also sure that they're right. So like, yeah, that it is what it is. That's not helping very many people out here. Like, people, please don't give an argument to the fact checkers by creating a dumbass article that needs fact checking about why fact checking is bad. Like, do we not see how this is counterproductive, you idiots? They're jumping from all of that misrepresentation of the truth to algorithms are Google's last-ditch attempt to control the internet before people worldwide can no longer access it. Holy clickbait, guys. Pump the brakes. God damn. There is a really important point here, guys. Yes, Google is shitty, but that is not what this was. We should all be very concerned with internet censorship on the left and the right. Everyone should be concerned. And if people are taking websites down, censoring information, which I'm sure they aren't, then that's a real problem for democracy functioning as it's supposed to function. But good Lord, it's not helping anyone to make false claims about the censorship of false claims, because you only add to their argument that we need censorship of false claims. You can have a little database of Snopes interns being like, yeah, that's not true. Or we can foster a culture of do your own research where we hold ourselves to higher standards because Snopes. Program.
Well, in other breaking news, just announced just this week, the Trump administration is severely cutting back on childhood naughty word schedules, childhood V schedules, and they're cutting it down to a lot less. But something I'm paying attention to. Whenever we see the big changes, it kind of makes me wonder if they're going to even more severely enforce the 11, and I wonder how this will influence choice, because just because we're making America healthy again doesn't mean these 11 remaining injections are somehow healthier than the rest. It just means that they're consolidating or using new technology like the new mRNA stuff to kind of do it all. So, all right, with that said, that's all the little news clips for this week, Jeremiah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jake, for another great current news as always. And now I want to share something with you about my new book, Memories of My Mom, The Butterfly, the Boy, and the King. Hey guys, I just released the most personal book I've ever written. It's called Memories of My Mom, The Butterfly, the Boy, and the King. This book was born from grief, but became a story about love, faith, and what remains after loss. I grew up a dyslexic kid who never quite fit in, but my mom made sure I always felt safe, loved, and believed in. Love never dies. It just changes form. Sometimes it's a memory, sometimes it's a song, and sometimes it's a beautiful butterfly. Every dollar of profit is being donated to my mom's favorite homeless charity. If you've ever lost someone you love, this book is for you. And I want you to know that you are not alone. This book was originally meant just for me, but I decided to release it because if it can just help one person, it was worth it. It's now available on Amazon. Just search for Jeremiah Skiba, Memories of My Mom, The Butterfly, the Boy, and the King, and it should pop up. Or I'll leave a link down in the description below. And I just want to say thank you guys for listening. I love each and every one of you. If the book touches you, send me a Facebook message or an email. I'd really love to hear your story. I didn't mean to pick that song, but that is so my mom, is to put a song that kind of is, happier than what the book is about. But yeah. Anyways, it's about that time for an all-new Uppa's Corner. Take it away, Uppa.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
the strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. These are the kinds of subjects a man named Robert L. Ripley challenged us to believe it or not.
Believe it or not, you.
Wally, believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Believe it!
You're a loony.
In the early 1820s, around 20,000 pigs freely roamed the streets of New York City and helped clean up the trash by eating it. Believe it or not. The New Year's Eve confetti released in Times Square contains thousands of people's handwritten wishes. Believe it or not. The National Day calendar lists January 1st as National Hangover Day. Believe it or not. By the 1890s, electric streetlights and public clocks helped spark America's first true New Year's Eve countdown celebrations at the exact stroke of midnight. Believe it or not. On New Year's Eve, the town of Eastover, North Carolina, drops a giant flea instead of a ball. Believe it or not. On New Year's Eve in the Philippines, people wear polka dots as they believe it will bring
Best
wealth
fireworks
to
I've
the
ever
new
seen.
year.
We'd watch it from above the city. It was
or
amazing.
not.
Did you wear polka dots?
Chevy Chase
No, I
was
didn't.
the drummer in a band that went on to become Steely Dan. Believe it or not. The original Hollywoodland sign boasted 4,000 light bulbs.
Wow.
Believe it or not. A Missouri judge resigned after facing discipline for wearing Elvis wigs
That's blasphemy.
and blasting his music in court. Believe it or not.
Yeah, way better hair than that.
The shark in the movie Jaws was nicknamed Bruce after Steven Spielberg's lawyer. Believe it or not.
Spielberg. Jew?
Deep thoughts with the tie-dye rabbi. How to hold the universe inside. He said, I don't know, but I got high hopes. So come on, let's go.
Why do we say shoes and socks when we put on our socks first? How old were you when you found out that hospital means house of sick people, including treatment and labor?
Today.
Wow, I
I'm
just
with
learned
my
that.
dog. Is a pet because we pet it, or do we pet it because it's a pet?
That's a good question.
I'm getting a glass of water. Water can burn you to death, freeze you to death, and drown you. But you have to have it to live. If I try to fail and I succeed, what have I really done? If dentists make money from bad teeth, why do we use toothpaste that they recommend?
Oh, that's a good question.
I never trusted that.
4 is the only number that has the same number of letters as its actual value. The word Q is just the letter Q with a bunch of silent letters standing in line.
Yeah, that's true.
Whoever put the S in fast food is a marketing genius.
Bat food.
4 hours of sleep is not much, but a 4-hour nap is.
Opus blast from the past. 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 Opus blast from the past.
That's cool.
DeSoto and the DeSoto Plymouth dealers, coast to coast, present Groucho Marx.
I was gonna say, it looks like Groucho Marx.
In You Bet Your Life.
Groucho sent me to see the new DeSoto.
Groucho sent me, and I love to drive this car. It's long and low and roomy, you're so handsome you can see.
It's powerful, and I'm so glad that Groucho sent me. Listen to him when you hear Groucho say.
Go drive the new DeSoto at DeSoto Plymouth dealers today.
That's cool. Yeah. Is he in New York right there?
Joyce Randolph. Brought to you by your Buick dealer. And away we go.
They like those spinning eyeballs.
And Roy Clark.
I'm Buck. I'm Roy. Hee-haw's back. Oh, boy. Let's go. In right now.
The Red Skelton Show, brought to you by Het Evaporated Milk. First food for babies, first choice of good cook. Het Instant Non-Fat Dry Milk, richer in protein and minerals. And Het Ritz Frozen Pies.
Imagine apple pie like this every time. Yes, every time when you bake Pet Ritz real fruit country pies. It's worth a few pennies more to serve pie this good. Pet Ritz frozen fruit pies.
The Red Skelton Show with David Rose and his orchestra. Guest stars Vincent Price and Jackie Coogan. The star of our show, Red Skelton.
Two pieces of bad news. One, I can still see you. And two, that's my litter box. So, Mr. Pig, you built that fire after you heard my client coming down your chimney. Did you know my client is an endangered species, Mr. Pig? Well, you yourself are nothing more than a walking side of ham. Parents of a lazy river. Why don't you get a job? You want to be a tributary your whole life? At least your friends all flood in the summer. Evening on a beached whale. Oh, Matthew, this is so romantic. And you even got a table near the blowhole. Doesn't this squirrel dish sound tasty? And it's so quick to prepare. Simply stalk, chase, grab, shake, shake, shake well, and serve. He said there'd be a bit of a wait on the roast duck. Quack. Alexa, play Radio 2. Alexa's in the lounge. You're talking to a tin can of cat food, dear. No, I think we all like the bangs better, Bob. Now, here's a feature you folks would really enjoy. Voila! A tree right off the master bedroom. That nagging feeling that he would not be immortalized by his brilliant writings, but by something banal as his footprint or a tooth. Okay, ma'am. You said you warned your husband to put the newspaper down or you'd blow him away. Did he respond? The first thing I'm gonna do is wipe that smile off your face.
That'd probably be for the best.
During Hanukkah, we knock the dreidel under the couch. When humans try to get it out, it's known as the Festival of Flashlights.
Love that. Knock it down.
Oh, man.
What it really comes down to is a question of values. Is a delicious, succulent turkey baked to perfection worth a few whacks on the nose with a newspaper? That Rottweiler is looking at us funny. You got a problem, buddy? Let's destroy his ankles. Hanging out with Jack Russell Terriers was a mistake. It's the turkeys versus the ducks. Brace yourself, Jimmy. We're gonna see a lot of foul play. I hate this guy. Okay, Johnson. We got a deal. We'll let your people and my people work out the details.
Little people.
Just what I wanted. Wrapping paper. Diamond-studded collar.
It's true.
Catnip Cafe. This is amazing. You're amazing. Everyone's amazing. I want to hug a mice. I'll sniff what she's sniffing. The Mark of Giro.
Oh, like Zora.
Take your age, add 5 years to it. That's your age in 5 years. You could tell him, or you could just sit back and enjoy the show.
Oh man, that's horrible.
And that concludes another Opa's Corner.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat er nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut. Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat er nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
Opa's Corner is now available on my own YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you, Opa, for another great Opa's Corner. Now, a quick word from our good friend, Kristen. Are you a content creator, podcaster, or show host trying to do it all on your own? Booking guests, moderating chats, creating timestamps, and scheduling interviews? It's exhausting. That's where Kristen and Fellow Helper Agency comes in. Kristen is the ultimate behind-the-scenes pro. She makes sure your show runs smooth from start to finish. Whether it's securing an amazing guest, keeping your community engaged, or handling the scheduling chaos, you can count on her. Imagine focusing on creating great content while Kristen takes care of all the rest. Professional, reliable, and trusted. If you're serious about growing your show and building your audience, you need Kristen on your team. Visit fellowhelperagency.com today because the right help changes everything. Thank you, Kristen. Now it's time for an all-new History's Mysteries. So before I start, I have a very important disclaimer. I am not suicidal. My wife is not suicidal. My Charlie is not suicidal. Neither are our other 2 cats. Opa, I'm sure you're not suicidal, right?
No, I don't think so.
Jake, are you suicidal?
I heard they had a fantastic slip and slide in Las Vegas down under the city, but I don't think I will participate. I am not suicidal either.
Okay, well now that that's all on the record, we're going to be talking about the Clinton hit list. Talking about how they're probably the most infamous killer family, allegedly, that we've ever seen. And so let's start where it begins in the summer of 1997 in Washington, D.C. So let's play this clip.
Another quiet Sunday evening in the summer of 1997 in Washington, D.C. 24-year-old Mary Mohane was busy closing up the Starbucks where she worked when a last-minute customer walked through the door. The man seemed nervous as he approached the counter, both his hands in his pockets, and that's when he pulled out a gun. It took Mary and her co-workers a few seconds to realize what was happening, but once they did, panic set in. Trying to escape and call for help, Mary rushed into the back of the store. The man with the gun followed. In the chaos of the next few minutes, all 3 Starbucks employees would end up dead, shot execution style in the backs of their heads. No one would discover their bodies until the next morning, and once they did, the man with the gun was long gone. The police call it a robbery gone wrong, but over the next few months, the case would take a lot of strange turns. First, the police announced that nothing had been taken from the store or the cash register. Whoever was responsible had walked in, shot all 3 employees dead, and then walked right out taking nothing with them. Either this person was a terrible thief, or there was a different motive afoot. But for some reason, the police had already latched onto the robbery gone wrong angle, so that was the story they stuck with. Eventually, DC police came up with a suspect, a man named Carl Cooper. They were convinced Cooper was the one responsible for the robbery and murders. All they had to do was break him, and that's exactly what they did. Over the next 2 days, police interrogated Carl Cooper for 54 hours straight. For context, police can usually get a false confession out of someone after just 16 hours of interrogation.
She did it! She did it! She's the one you want!
Carl Cooper was interrogated for more than 3 times that. It didn't matter that the police had no solid witnesses or evidence against Carl Cooper, or that it made no sense that nothing had been taken from the store if it was a robbery. The cops believed that they had their man, so they kept pushing. and a lot can happen in 54 hours. People can be convinced of a lot in 54 hours as well. And so after 54 hours of interrogation, Carl Cooper confessed to everything. He confessed that he had gone into the Starbucks to rob it, and when Mary Mohane wouldn't give him the keys to the safe, he shot her and the 2 other employees point blank. To most of the public, his confession made sense. He was just another guy from a low-income neighborhood looking to make a quick buck. But for other people, something didn't feel right. It didn't feel like just another straightforward robbery, and that's when Carl Cooper did something totally unexpected. He took back his confession. He recanted everything that he had said, saying that the police had coerced him into giving a false confession. But that didn't matter. To the police, the case was closed, and in the year 2000, Carl Cooper was sentenced to life in prison without parole. And within just a few months, the story of Mary Mohane's murder had disappeared from everyone's minds. But some people didn't forget. Some people started to connect the dots to who Mary Mohane really was. You see, Mary Mohane was not just another Starbucks employee. Before she had gotten a job at the DC Starbucks, she had worked as an intern for none other than President Bill Clinton. And she died right around the time rumors have been spreading that a particular White House intern was about to go public with a sexual harassment story involving Bill Clinton. A lot of people assumed that this intern was Mary, which meant that a lot of powerful people wanted Mary to disappear. That combined with Carl Cooper taking back his confession, but no one would ever look deeper into the death of Mary Mohane. Because within just a few months of her death, a little old story about Monica Lewinsky broke.
The president speaks forcefully with his most emphatic denial yet of sex and lies in the Monica Lewinsky case.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
It becomes clear he wasn't always telling the truth.
Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate.
All the attention went to that, and everyone quickly forgot about poor old Mary Mohane. The scandal turned Monica Lewinsky into one of the most famous women on the planet. But what the masses didn't know was that Monica Lewinsky was far from the only woman. Long before Monica Lewinsky, several other women also accused Bill Clinton of sexual harassment. But unlike Monica Lewinsky, many of these women would not make it out alive. Take Paula Jones, for example. In 1994, she sued President Bill Clinton for sexual harassment. According to Paula, while Bill was still governor of Arkansas, Bill had asked Paula to meet him in his hotel room, where he didn't just ask her to sleep with him, but Bill Clinton exposed himself to her as well.
May of 91, Bill Clinton harassed me on the job and then basically told me, let's keep this between ourselves. I just pretended that it didn't happen because who would believe me?
Over the next few years, Clinton approached her again and again, and when she continued to reject him, she eventually got transferred to another job as punishment. For the Clinton administration, Paula Jones's lawsuit was a publicity nightmare. Not only did it look bad that a president apparently couldn't keep his clothes on, but sexual harassment was also a very real serious crime. If Clinton lost the case, it could mean the end of his presidency, and his legacy would be forever tarnished. But lucky for Bill, Paula Jones was just one insignificant woman, and he was the president of the United States. It would be his word against hers. And who was the public gonna believe? The leader of the free world? Or some low-level female government employee who was obviously just in it for the money? So that's exactly what Bill told the public. Obviously, all Paula Jones wanted was fame and a payday. He even had a witness to prove it, a man named Danny Ferguson. In 1991, Trooper Danny Ferguson had been in charge of one of Bill Clinton's security teams. According to him, it was Paula who initiated everything. It was Paula who was making the advances on Bill, and Bill Clinton wanted nothing to do with her. It seemed like Paula was about to lose her case, and that's when Paula made a bold move. She went on to include Danny Ferguson in her lawsuit against Bill Clinton, alleging that he was the one who invited her up to Clinton's room. And so, less than a week later, Danny's ex-wife Kathy Ferguson shot herself in the head. If anyone had known whether or not Danny was telling the truth, it would have been his wife. But luckily for Bill Clinton, no one would ever have the chance to find out. According to the police, Kathy had shot herself because of her relationship with her new boyfriend, but it didn't take long for people to get suspicious. If Kathy wanted to kill herself, why would she have packed herself into suitcases as if she was going to travel somewhere? Kathy had been a young, healthy, positive woman. No one who knew her could believe that she would kill herself. So if she didn't kill herself, then who did and why? Could it have been because she had first-hand knowledge of how Bill Clinton asked her ex-husband to bring him women to sleep with? No one would ever be able to find out. By 1997, 2 women had died in the space of a few years who were both linked to sexual harassment claims against Bill Clinton. But nothing to see here, Kathy Ferguson just killed herself. Mary Mohane was just another robbery victim. But the disturbing part is that these 2 deaths are just the tip of the iceberg. In the span of around 3 decades, more than 50 people connected to the Clintons have died. And these are not just random people, these are people who had the power to ruin the public image of the Clintons. These are people that could have linked the Clintons to scandals. And magically, all of them are dead. And they didn't die from natural causes, mind you. Oh no, each of these 50 people all died in one of the 3 ways. They either died by suicide, plane crash, or a robbery gone wrong. According to the media, all these deaths are nothing more than a sad coincidence. But after more than 50 people all dying from suicide, plane crash, or a robbery gone wrong, it is one hell of a coincidence, don't you think?
I think, yeah. As a true crime fan myself, the Clintons are crazy, but to have 50 plus people and all of them die from either super slide, plane crash, robbery gone wrong, that's sketchy. That's very sketchy. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but before I get Opa's opinion, let's dig into the Clinton kill list.
The origins of the Clintons' suicide spree can be traced back to long before Bill was elected president. It all started back in the 1970s when Bill had just been elected governor of Arkansas and Hillary was working at the Rose Law Firm. As governor, Bill had a certain image that he wanted to project, and to project that image, him and Hillary had to find a way to make a lot more money because there was no way his measly government salary and the little money Hillary made as an associate lawyer was going to cut it. And that's when they met James and Susan McDougal. Like the Clintons, the McDougals were also looking to make a quick buck, and they already had a plan to make it happen, a real estate development venture. Together, the Clintons and the McDougals would buy up 230 acres of land in the Ozark Mountains for what would become known as the Whitewater Development Corporation. The two couples would invest their money into building and selling vacation homes to people interested in the outdoors and nature, and for a short while it seemed like their plan would work. But just as Bill and Hillary began pouring their money into the project, things went horribly wrong. First, the land started flooding due to heavy rain, and once the rain ended, no one really showed interest in the homes they were going to build because it was nearly impossible to reach by car. So within just a few years, the Whitewater Development Corporation went under, and the Clintons and the McDougals went their separate ways, or so they claimed. Because in 1992, while Bill was still running for president, a massive scandal broke. You see, after his Whitewater plan had failed, James McDougal had switched to the banking industry and opened up a bank called Madison Guaranty Savings and Loans in the 1980s. But just like the Whitewater project, Madison Guaranty also ended in disaster just a few years later, costing the government more than $73 million in insurance payouts, which meant that suddenly the US government was also very interested in James McDougal and his failing businesses. And surprisingly enough, their investigation led them right back to the Clintons. According to the allegations, Bill Clinton had tried using his position as governor to force the president of a small investment firm to give the failing Whitewater Development Corporation a loan. Or in other words, Bill Clinton was abusing his power to prop up his business.
Let's turn to Whitewater. This week, the Whitewater Special Prosecutor, Mr. Starr, got a federal judge to extend the life of that grand jury looking into the Whitewater case. He says there's extensive evidence of obstruction of justice. If, as you say, there is nothing there, Mr. President, how can so many reputable, respected professionals keep pressing on with this?
Well, that's your characterization, not mine.
You don't think Mr. Starr is a reputable person?
No, I didn't say that. I said that was your characterization. Well, this thing's been going on for over 3 years. Tens of millions of dollars have been spent. And there have been, by the way, 2 federal reports by independent agencies saying that what I said and what my wife said in the very beginning of this was true, that we were not involved in running the savings and loan, that we lost money on a real estate deal, and that this whole inquiry is going after 2 people who lost money on a real estate deal made almost 19 years ago now. And that's what this whole thing has been about. So all I can do is keep smiling, keep cooperating, and answering the questions that are asked of me and spending my time being president. But, you know, the American people can reach their own conclusions about whether this has been worth the money that's been spent on it, the time that's being drug out on it. But I have told the truth. I will continue to tell the truth. That's all I can do.
Well, you suggested one time that maybe Mr. Starr was out to get you. Do you think that's what's going on here?
I don't have anything to add to what I've already said. I don't want to make any news on Whitewater. I want to make news as president. I'm sick and there are too many people in Washington, D.C. that spend all their time trying to destroy each other and not enough time trying to build up the American people. I'm going to spend my time trying to do the American people's business.
To make things even messier, James McDougal later hired Hillary's Rose Law Firm to represent Madison Guaranty as a favor to Governor Bill Clinton.
Clear from the story that from 1987 to 1992, when they finally got out of the investment, it was essentially being managed by Hillary Clinton. And this at a time she was negotiating bank loans, submitting financial disclosure statements, at a time when the bank holding these loans was negotiating with the governor to get legislation it wanted, to a favorable legislation in the state. This, on the face of it, is just a blatant appearance of a conflict of interest, in my view.
As part of her work, Hillary represented Madison Guaranty in front of the state securities departments, headed by a lawyer who also used to work for the bank, who was directly appointed to the job by Bill Clinton.
The article claims McDougal subsidized the corporation with money from his savings and loan, quote, ensuring that the Clintons were under little financial risk. As it turned out, the Clintons lost money and the corporation is no longer active. The deal raises questions, according to the Times, because after McDougal's savings and loan became insolvent and faced a possible shutdown by the state, Governor Clinton appointed a new state securities commissioner. The Times says the new commissioner then approved a plan to keep the business alive, a plan proposed by Clinton's wife Hillary, whose law firm had been hired to represent the savings and loan. The questions raised by the article are whether a governor should be involved in a venture with the owner of a business regulated by the state, and whether the governor's wife should get legal fees for work done for that business. Last night, Clinton was asked about his dealings with McDougal.
Well, I've known him for 25 years. In the late 70s, he asked my wife and I if we were interested in entering a land deal with him. We were in it. We never made any money out of it. We lost a lot of money in it. And we spent the last few years trying to get the records cleaned up, make sure at least they were in order.
It was a hot mess of crony capitalism and corruption. And thanks to all this corruption, Hillary and Bill Clinton managed to keep Madison Guarantee open far longer than it would have survived on its own. And as a thank you for their support, James McDougal held a fundraiser for Bill Clinton's election campaign. So when the feds finally started picking up that something fishy was happening with Madison Guarantee, the Clintons suddenly had a lot to worry about. If the public found out they had broken the rules to help their friends stay in business, their political careers would take a major hit.
Today, we issue the final report of the Whitewater Committee. After 14 months of work, 52 hearings, and taking testimony from more than 260 witnesses, we have discovered a very troubling and continuing pattern of the abuse of power. And each time an abuse is revealed, the White House delivers excuses, memory lapses, and changed stories. Time and time again, the White House seems unable to give the American people the truth on the first or even the second try. Throughout our hearings, this disturbing pattern was seen again and again.
They needed to make sure James and Susan McDougal kept their mouths shut, and that wouldn't be an easy task. At first, James McDougal refused to say a word about Bill Clinton's involvement in all the illegal business practices he carried out. Not even Susan McDougal, his wife, would say whether or not the Clintons had known what was going on. But then the court found James McDougal guilty on several counts, so suddenly he wasn't gonna keep his mouth shut anymore. According to him, Bill and Hillary had known and participated in all the shady deals in both Madison Guarantee and Whitewater. Even worse, Bill Clinton had actually lied under oath, and Bill Clinton had promised to pardon Susan if they wouldn't snitch on him. And if that wasn't bad enough, Susan and Bill also had an affair, so things were starting to heat up for the Clintons. James McDougal was about to spill it all. But lucky for the Clintons, James McDougal suddenly dies in 1998, just before he was about to fully cooperate with the prosecution and turn against the Clintons. The official cause of death was a heart attack. It made sense. James McDougal had a history of artery disease. He was a pretty old guy. The stress of the trial and being in jail must have been too much for him. Nothing suspicious to see here. If it happened at the perfect time to prevent him from saying anything about the Clintons, well, that was just a mere coincidence. But James McDougal wasn't the only person associated with these scandals that died. Just a few years earlier, one of the main investigators of the Whitewater and Madison Guarantee scandals, an investigator named John Parnell Walker, had conveniently committed suicide by jumping off his apartment balcony right in the middle of his investigation. So now with James McDougal gone, the only loose end left was Susan. But even with her husband gone and facing years of jail time, she refused to tell the truth. She refused to say anything in front of a jury, and she would spend the next few years in and out of jail. But lucky for Susan, her loyalty was rewarded. Because just a few hours before the end of his presidency in 2001, Bill Clinton granted her a full presidential pardon, just as he had promised James if he would have kept quiet. By now, the Clintons had their first taste of real power that came attached with the presidency, and pretty soon they would find yet another reason to use that power to get rid of yet another one of their little problems.
So super sketchy. I mean, the man dies, and then the lead investigator just decides, I'm gonna jump off my balcony, and just all these little things pop up right when their political career could end. And Opa, he served 2 terms, right?
Yep.
So the American people ate this shit up, right?
Yeah, they did.
Did you vote for him?
Yeah, unfortunately I did.
Well, that wasn't even my question for you, but did you guys know about this? I mean, this was 1991 and early 90s, so I wasn't born yet, but did you guys, I mean, was this apparent at the time about some of these sketchy things?
That'd be
so
right.
He's between
92 and 98.
Yeah, so that was the first term was like before I was born. Half of it was, so just super sketchy things. I mean, we can all admit that, right?
Oh yeah, it does remind me of that story of BB from this week.
I know,
the judge presiding over his corruption case being hit by a car. Oh, whoops.
I feel like a lot of this has similarities to that. But so let's go ahead and play this final clip of the Clinton hit list, and let's talk about the forged letter and Vince Foster. So let's go ahead.
This is Vince Foster. Growing up, Vince and Bill Clinton lived across the street from each other and became close childhood friends. Later, he was also the guy who hired Hillary Clinton to join the Rose law firm where he worked. Because of their long history together, Bill had a lot of trust in Vince Foster as a lawyer and friend, which is why Vince was often the guy Bill turned to help him out with legal issues like the Whitewater scandal and Madison Guarantee. Vince had proven his loyalty to Bill over and over again. So when Bill eventually became president of the US, he wanted to surround himself with very friendly faces in the White House. people he knew and trusted. And who better for the job than Vince Foster, the childhood friend who stood by and helped the Clintons all those years in Arkansas. So Bill appointed Foster as his deputy White House counsel. Basically, Foster was there to give President Clinton legal advice, so as deputy counsel, Foster knew everything that happened in the White House. And as Bill Clinton's close friend and advisor, he probably knew everything happening in the Clintons' private lives as well, which wouldn't have been an issue if he simply kept his mouth shut. But there was a problem. Unlike the Clintons, Vince Foster was a pretty honest, straightforward guy. Anyone who knew him knew he was struggling with all the lies and backstabbing that was all too common in politics. Dealing with the fallout of the Whitewater and Madison Guarantee investigations had been stressful enough for him. But then just months into Bill's presidency, and the Clintons managed to get into trouble again. This time it involved the White House Travel Office. Apparently Bill and Hillary Clinton had felt the employees of the White House Travel Office were not loyal enough to them and needed to be fired. But instead of just coming out and saying that I don't like you, you're fired, the Clintons felt that it would be better for their public image if they had a good reason to fire all of them. So they got the FBI to dig into the travel office, looking for any possible evidence of wrongdoing to fire them.
You're fired!
All the FBI could come up with was that there had been a few financial problems with the office during previous administrations, but that was all the Clintons needed. They fired 7 employees and replaced them with friends and campaign donors. But when word got out about this, the public was outraged. Here were senior White House officials, maybe even the Clintons themselves, pressuring the FBI into investigating a department that they had no reason to suspect a crime was afoot. Even though he was president of the US, Bill Clinton wasn't above the law, so why was his administration pressuring the FBI into cases for their own benefits? It would be the first of many ethics controversies in the Clinton administration, and as deputy counsel, Vince Foster was front and center of all of it. As White House Deputy Counsel, your job is to make sure everything the president does is legal and ethical. So if that's the case, why did Vince Foster let the Clintons do this? It was horribly unethical. Didn't he know better? So suddenly, all the blame shifted onto Vince Foster, which made a nice stand-up guy like Foster very uncomfortable. He already had to defend the Clintons over the Whitewater and Madison Guarantee scandals, where he knew something fishy was going on. Now he had to take the blame for the travel office controversy too? It was too much. The stress was making him sick. Every day, he would spend hours outlining his case in a notebook, reviewing the facts and then rewriting it all over again. He was desperately looking for a way to protect the Clintons, while keeping himself out of trouble, while also trying to find a way to live with himself. But it just wasn't possible. He was possibly going to get called to Congress soon, which meant that he was going to have to lie under oath too. It was all too much. The good man in Vince Foster knew that it was time to come clean, but for the Clintons, that was just not an option. On July 20th, 1993, Vince Foster was found dead in a park outside of Washington, D.C. The official cause of death? He had shot himself in the mouth with a revolver. Another suicide in the books. What was strange was that almost immediately after the discovery, long before the police even confirmed it was a suicide, the media began writing about how Vince Foster had been severely depressed, how his family had known something was wrong, and that this was just an inevitable result of a mentally ill person owning a gun.
Good afternoon. I have just met with the White House staff to basically talk with them a little bit about the death of my friend of 42 years, Vince Foster. It is an immense personal loss to me and to Hillary and to many of his close friends here, and a great loss to the White House and to the country. As I tried to explain, especially to the young people on the staff, there is really no way to know why these things happen.
No one bothered to mention the fact that a file on the Whitewater scandal went missing from his office the night he died, or that same file mysteriously reappeared 2 years later and magically cleared Hillary Clinton of any wrongdoing. No one wrote about the fact that Bernard Nussbaum, President Clinton's counsel and Foster's direct superior, had blocked the police from accessing Foster's office, or that he had told White House lawyers to sit in on police interviews with potential witnesses.
Look at that. After last summer's hearings, both the majority and the minority reports concluded, and I want to emphasize this, that the evidence overwhelmingly supported the Park Police's conclusion that Mr. Foster died of a self-inflicted wound.
To the best of my recollection, I explained to him that the office would need to be closed up so that we could go through it the next day to look for a suicide note or evidence that would confirm the suicide.
And how did he respond to you?
He seemed to understand what I was asking him, and, like I said earlier, I do not remember what his exact words were, but he acknowledged that it would be done.
But the Park Police investigating team was allowed in Mr. Foster's office, but you were not allowed to look at anything. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's correct. In other words, Mr. Nussbaum, in his infinite wisdom, controlled what was what in the office, what you could do.
That is correct.
So this investigation, would you consider it initial part of like a sham?
Pardon me, sir?
Was it a sham of an investigation then?
I wouldn't call it a sham, but I would say that we would have liked to
Would you call it an investigation?
We would have liked to have looked at those documents, some of those documents ourselves.
It was totally an incomplete investigation, Mike.
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Thank you for yielding, sir.
Even worse, no one seemed to care that Bernard Nussbaum's aide discovered a torn-up resignation letter in Foster's briefcase 6 days after his death, and that it took them nearly 30 hours after discovering the notes to finally hand it over to the cops.
Curiously, White House counsel Bernard Nussbaum had earlier inspected the contents of the briefcase but didn't find the note. This led to widespread skepticism concerning the document's authenticity.
As soon as the note was discovered, the media jumped on the chance to run the depressed suicidal storyline even further. According to them, what Foster wrote in his note proved just how hopeless he really was before ending it all. Obviously, this was just a case of an unhappy, mentally ill man sadly taking his own life, nothing more. Or was it? Soon after discovering the notes, 2 expert investigators and an Oxford University manuscript expert agreed that the note was nothing more than a forgery.
The experts believe that the forger studied an existing document handwritten by Vince Foster and then copied his writing style letter by letter. Ronald Rice, a handwriting examiner who has worked for the state of Massachusetts, is convinced that the note was forged.
Document. If we compare the formation of the cursive capital I here on the question document to the formation of the capital I here on the known document authored by Mr. Foster, we can plainly see it is not the same. It's an entirely different letter formation.
Rice went on to describe other discrepancies. For example, in the suicide note, the letter O is open. By contrast, in the known samples, it is closed. In addition, Rice claims that the letter B in the note was made with at least 4 strokes of the pen. In the known sample, he says the letter was written with 1 continuous stroke. Rice says he discovered numerous discrepancies, which prove to him that the suicide note was not written by Vince Foster. But can the differences be explained? Perhaps by stress, the stress of a man about to kill himself. These experts give no credence to the argument.
Your handwriting would not change because you were under that type of stress. It might get a little sloppier, it might get a little less clear, but your style of writing normally would not change.
Not only had Vince Foster never written the notes, but there was also no fingerprints to be found on the paper. Only one smudged palm print belonging to none other than Bernard Nussbaum. Suddenly, the idea that Vince Foster had killed himself began to seem a little hard to believe. But then, just as the public started questioning the official suicide story, the FBI came to the rescue once more, just like they did with the travel office scandal. According to them, 3 different analyses done on the suicide note had confirmed without a doubt that it was indeed Vince Foster who wrote it. And what the FBI says, the public must believe. The FBI said it was a suicide, so it was a suicide. And anyone who said otherwise was just a conspiracy theorist. Case closed. The Clintons had gotten out of Whitewater, Madison Guarantee, and the travel office scandal scot-free, with every last loose end conveniently taken care of. But bending and breaking the rules is addictive, and soon they would be back in trouble again, looking for a way out.
Jeffrey and Bill, they got such a strong bond.
I made this.
Friendship is so tight, it's almost like they share a brain. Jeffrey and Bill, they're like conjoined twins, Siamese twin brothers who share the same brain. And when they fly in airplanes, they can't help but to exclaim, ooh, we love flying and exploring islands and getting into trouble, yes we do. Jeffrey and Bill, they love flying and getting into trouble, yes they do, yes they do.
Now I'll tell you this, if you ever meet Bill Clinton, don't become friends with him. So like once Vince Foster was going to speak out, that's when they decided, okay, we're done. These are just small examples of what happened. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of them. And in my opinion, this was the first time that the Clintons realized that they could control the media and the narrative and all that. And they still do today. And yeah, those are my thoughts. Do you have any thoughts, Jake, Opa?
Well, I think like some politicians, they do not present the whole truth.
By killing people?
I'm trying to choose my words very carefully here.
Well, we can all admit that killing is bad.
Yes, killing's bad, lying's bad, trying to control the media is bad.
Jeffrey Epstein is bad.
Jerry Epstein is bad.
So's Jerry.
and to be perfectly honest, I'm not exactly sure why Bill Clinton lasted so long. Even before he became president, as a governor, I remember newspaper articles and stuff that made him look so shady.
Well, that's because the media controlled the narrative, because the Clintons controlled the media.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, I don't know if they're personally involved. Either they're the tip of a spear, and there's a whole lot of functioning Illuminati types behind them that are making sure that their guy doesn't get taken out and discredited so that they can still use him to perpetuate their power play. I mean, it seems to me like coincidence sticks to the Clintons as much as flies stick to poop.
Yep.
So the coincidences around them are they're a lot.
Yeah, and remember, guys,
dinks.
this is all alleged, and we are not suicidal. So that being said, I think we should move on and switch the gears a little and end with some laughter, especially with all the doom and gloom in this world. So it's time for an all-new volume, but please excuse my sense of humor. If you laugh at any of these videos, leave me your favorite one in the comment section. And if any of these offend you, I'm sorry, you can't take a joke. So let's go ahead and roll that clip over.
Oh my darling, are you having a mother nightmare?
I dreamt someone hit me.
Oh, it was only a dream. It's breakfast time.
Fuck. Motherfucker,
You alright?
Huh?
Oh, hell no.
On this episode of Tweaker Geographic, we encounter a truly bewildering sidewalk specimen, dressed in what experts can only describe as a confused blend of thrift store clearance and absolute confidence. Armed with a ribboned stick of unknown origin, the subject performs spins, twirls, and skips as if summoned by music no one else can hear. Researchers believe this display may be part of a mating ritual or an open audition for Tweaker's Got Talent.
You're having a really nice day. I hope you're having a very nice day.
Circumcised? No. I don't think so. Tell me what they
Honestly, so what if I did smoke crack? It's none of your, pardon me, it's none of your freaking business in the first place. You're just jealous nobody wants to do stuff like that with you because you're boring. You're lame. Write that down. End of story.
This bill legalizes sawed-off shotguns.
I need a sawed-off shotgun.
Brother, look, that's the tail right there. Go.
Shotgun.
Oh, shoot! Oh! You with the tail off! You with the tail off! Oh my god! Oh my god, that's disgusting! That's disgusting! What did you do here? That's disgusting! Nah, I'm gonna vomit, bro. Oh my god!
Now you're gonna have two of them because it grows in your body. It'll grow back.
Should I grab it?
That's what my mom used to say if I got a cut on my finger. Don't worry, it'll grow back.
Stop, bro.
I used to date twins back in the day.
You did? Well, how could you tell them apart?
Well, Laura used to tie her hair back, and Mike had a...
That would do it.
I know the vacuum cleaner man. He's seen my tits. I know that's not going on TV, but it's true. It's true. I'm not here to lie to you.
It went on TV.
What's your name?
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Cheryl Crow.
No, it's not.
I know.
You look like a crow with that beak on your face. You're one greasy bastard, aren't you? What? How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm just awesome.
Yeah. You still want to crawl in the tanning bed for about 4 more hours?
Oh, absolutely not. This is real.
Real? Yeah. Real leathery. You look like a Buick seat.
In this episode of Tweaker Geographic, we encounter Captain Crack Sparrow, also known to locals as Captain Jack Daniels. This tweaker pirate isn't searching for treasure or the Black Pearl, just vibes, validation, and his next port of poor decisions.
Musk was saying that, was going through all of his Doge data, and he was saying we found 250,000 Americans over the age of 124 who are collecting who are collecting social security, who are collecting workers' compensation.
All these animals. Love it.
Must be a good stretch.
I don't know. I think he knows the truth.
He's like, I'm this tall.
You know how we say it took a village to raise a child? But what if the village is retarded? What you think it's gonna produce?
For Opa, of course. Doc, son.
His heart goes out to Opa.
His heart goes out to Opa.
Christ is king. Why is that labeled anti-Semitic?
Because it is.
Yeah, it goes totally against their religion.
If you say Christ is king, what's their job? How are they the chosen?
Right, yeah, right.
It is anti-Semitic. Christ was anti-Semitic. He said, you're the synagogue of Satan. Get out of here, you brood of vipers.
Yeah, that's actually a verse in the Bible.
You're the children of the devil. I don't understand how evangelical Christians read this and are like, they're our friends.
Yeah, they always say they're God's chosen people.
Yeah.
I always say that from Republicans.
And then who are you?
Right.
Who are you worshiping?
This is great.
There he is.
There he is.
What'd you get, Tucker?
A catfish.
All right, bring it through the fence.
I need a clock like that. You could see me liking it on the video. Me trying to say congratulations and don't bleep your baby.
Hi!
Can you tell me about your dog?
This is Honey. He is a gay, gender fluid, golden retriever Afghan hound mix.
Yes!
Poor thing.
Everybody be on notice. I guess I have to become celibate because I can't give my energy up to sex. That's the biggest strain on me because I'm a man. There is no more pleasure. And I commit myself to total war against Satan. And I ask God to lead God and direct me and commit me to his arms and to become a complete vessel of warfare. And I repent for all my sins. And I ask now before everyone that you lift me up to be an absolute battering ram against the enemy in God's will. In the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Amen.
Some people say there are some Bible verses that are considered controversial. For instance, when I first read the verse that said women should remain silent in church, I thought, whoa, only in church?
So, that was my, please excuse my sense of humor, my dark sense of humor. What was your favorite one, Jake?
Oh man, you know, I really think the Crack Sparrow was really, I thought it was and you know, the reason I like that is because I just recently discovered at the Bass Pro Shop about an hour away, they have the OG Jack Sparrow gun from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie in the museum, and I got to look at it, and so I was like, hey, Crack Sparrow.
I had to put an AI face on it because it looked so much like Johnny Depp. But what were your thoughts, Opa? Or what was your favorite one, Opa?
I like the Dachshund.
Yep. Made that one just for you. And I did say during the live stream, and I forgot to tell you guys, there is a cool backstory to that RFK puppet. His name is Hoggle in the movie The Labyrinth. And once they were done with the movie, they packed him up in a suitcase and they were sending him back to Hollywood because I don't know where they were filming. But the bag got lost. And so it arrived at this place called where you can go and you can shop and literally buy people's luggage. Unclaimed baggage is what it's called. And it freaked them out at first, and then they realized it was a puppet. So they I mean, it's made of like silicone or whatever it's made out of, latex, and it looked all gross. So they refurbished it, and it's now in like a little museum at that unclaimed baggage place, which I've always wanted to go to. You can get everything like cheaper there. So they're not a sponsor of this show, but I definitely recommend it. I've only seen it in videos. If you guys want to fly me out there, I'd happily film it for you guys. But yeah, that's all I got today. And Jake, thank you for another great current news as always. Opa, thank you for another great Opa's Corner, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode as a whole. Stay awake, not woke, subscribe, and stay tuned.
Adios!
Adios. If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe. And also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Son of the legendary Lost Jeremiah Skiba.
It's like they don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.